I exist, and I have thought. I exist, and I have thoughts and feelings, and there are things around me. Things that I can describe in a language that I know, and others know, and others don't know. But the only thing I truly know is I think, therefore I am. There's seemingly, genuinely no way I can know if anything else outside of me actually exists. And so we live by blind faith. Yet, it's so convincing with my thirst and my hunger pains and my desires. I'm compelled to engage and interact and try to transform the experience and be grateful that I'm aware that the experience is also transforming me. But is it really? What is it, really? What is real? What is real? Perhaps the observer is the only constant, unchangeable aspect of... And so we meditate to experience the truest, most stripped down core of beingness, the only thing we know to be true. Except one other thing I can know for sure is that objective truth must exist. That is assuming that my logic is correct. In a world in which there is objective truth, it is an objective truth that there is objective truth. In a world in which there is no objective truth, it would then be objectively true in that world that there is no objective truth, which contradicts itself. So I think absolutely there can still be subjective truth, but there must be objective truth. And thus far, the only one objective truth I can be certain of is that I think, therefore I am. And this isn't just some exoteric philosophical musing that I'm stealing from Descartes, but rather an embodied esoteric gnosis from personal experience. Depersonalization and derealization are a bitch. But the realization that I am real is the only thing that really helped pull me out of it. Everything else, and I mean everything else, is blind faith. Acting as if it's real without really knowing if it's real or not. Like, for all I know, literally everything could just be a hallucination of my mind. But acting as if it's not real is very dysfunctional and leads to very unpleasant experiences. As such is the basis of the most rudimentary ancient morals / values / right and wrong. Good actions get pleasant results and bad actions get unpleasant results. And even though I can't prove this to be an objective truth, it's something very persistent and insistent that has remained my experience thus far. But the taxes are due. So I guess we'll carry on. That's something I wrote the other night in... Oh, it's 11:11! Wait, can you see it? There it is. And there's my doggy. He's a happy boy. Yeah. That was something I wrote the other night, thinking about this experiment that I have on this channel. This channel is a New Game Plus IRL. For those who aren't familiar with a New Game Plus, if you're playing a video game, like let's say you're playing this game, right? And you play through it for a while and you decide to start over on this game. That's called a new game. You're not playing like a different game. You're still playing the same game, but it's like you're starting a new game, a new save file, a new whatever of that same game. So they call it new game. But some games, I feel like I phrased that weirdly. Like you're starting, you know what I mean. But some games have a mode called New Game Plus, where if you get to a certain point within the game, you unlock this bonus mode where you can start the game anew, but with something else additional. You've earned this extra plus, whatever it may be. And so that's what this channel is taking that concept to real life. How can I hit the reset button on my life and do a new game plus? What do I want to bring from the previous game? What do I feel like I unlocked? What kind of knowledge, experience, physical items? Like, I still have clothing and cameras and computers and phones and notebooks, like all that stuff that is the plus, so to speak. I've started like a brand new save file. I've started a brand new game of life. And then the plus is the stuff in here and the stuff out here. And the connections I have with other people. And life experiences and all that sort of thing. But if I strip it all down to like, what is the bare minimum that I'm bringing to my new life from the old one? I have some notes here. So this is New Game Plus 2.0. Finally. I've tried to force this many times in the past and it just didn't quite work right. But for some reason, right now, it's feeling right. And I'm hoping that I'm correct. And I'm hoping that it, like, I've tried to force it before. And I would make a couple of videos and then stop. So, 1.0 began on the winter solstice of 2020. And 2.0, I hereby declare, is starting on the spring equinox of 2025. But 1.0, the original version of this, stemmed entirely from misery. You know, it was 2020. Which actually was kind of oddly a good year for me in weird ways, because I got to kind of like withdraw from the world and hide, but be by myself and be up in here and like thinking things through, reflecting on like, what am I doing with my life? Where do I want to go with my life? All those sorts of things. I kind of enjoyed it. But anyways, I think about the word depression. I think of it as like a catch-all term for lots of other terms that could more accurately describe how you're feeling in that specific moment, whether you feel stuck or frustrated or sad or angry or disappointed or hopeless or overwhelmed. For me, my primary emotion is overwhelm. And so the New Game Plus 1.0, I'm finally getting back around to it, was, let me do the complete opposite. What is the least whelming thing I could possibly do, which would be to do nothing? And then I realized immediately, oh, I can't do nothing because I'm still thinking and feeling. And so the closest thing I can get to doing nothing is either sleeping or meditating, right? And so then my life at that point consists of sleeping and meditating. That's it. That's my life. You do that for long enough, eventually you're going to need water. So my life consists of sleeping, meditating, and water. That's it. That's my life. You do that for long enough, eventually you're going to need food, right? So at that point, my life consists of sleeping, meditating, water, and food. That's it. That's my life. Blah, blah, blah. You do that for long enough, eventually you're going to need to exercise. Like, you're going to get all stiff and blah, blah, blah from sitting around meditating. You're going to, like, not be able to sleep right because you're not expending energy, and so then you're not tired at night, and then you don't sleep, and then you're tired all the next day, and it becomes a disaster. So it's like, slowly, you start to rebuild the life. You add in exercise, you add in hygiene, you add in, like, going to the bathroom, you add in, well, where am I going to get this food and water? I have to go get a job now. You slowly rebuild your life from the ground up. And so there was also a bunch of unconscious rules that I had about it that took me years actually to realize that I was overlaying these assumptions onto the experiment. For example, I wanted to document everything, which you can't do. You can't. It's just too much. You have to be intentional about the data that you're creating, the time it's going to take to process that data, the videos I'm recording, the time it's going to take to edit them, the journaling I'm going to do, that like is this like worth the amount of effort that I'm putting into it, what the amount of the ratio of results to effort put in, so stuff like that. And so this 2.0 I've been trying to figure out for months, specifically years kind of, but specifically months. What does 2.0 mean? It's kind of like a revamp, recommitment, starting it over again, doing it again, but I've added a little bit more stuff to it. I want to minimize unconsciousness, so like these unconscious rules, things that I was applying to the experiment without realizing I was applying to the experiment. I want to minimize that as much as possible. I want to maximize the intentionality, make sure like I know exactly why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. Is this action worth doing? But I also have some like little secret goals. Like before with 1.0, everything was kind of bare minimum. Like, what do I need just to survive, just to get by? And that was useful for the time. And in a lot of ways, it's actually still quite useful now. Because if you design like your perfect day, and then you expect yourself to do that every single day, you're going to be disappointed. So I think it is functional to design like your bare minimum day of like, this is what I need, and I would love to do all of this stuff too, and I am going to strive to do all of this stuff too, is a key distinction. But if I only get just this done, I can still be satisfied. I think that is an important thing to have well defined. And so like one of my secret goals here with the 2.0 version is like, I don't want to just survive, I want to optimize things, which is a whole nother level of complexity that I kind of touched on in videos years ago. But yeah, basically, I'm back. I'm back to uploading videos because yeah, my primary emotion being overwhelmed, this experiment, this new Game Plus IRL thing being the most effective thing I've ever had for improving my mental health. Like I've tried, well, I was gonna say I've tried medications. I kind of haven't tried a lot of kinds of them, but I just don't like the idea of them, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting into that. But I've tried lots of therapies. I've tried lots of different types of it, different therapists, different whatever. I've tried a lot of shit. This experiment is the only thing that has helped at all? Question mark slash definitely the only thing that has helped significantly. And in this pursuit of optimizing everything, I can foresee that I'm also at risk of taking on too much again, and like there's just outside of this experiment, like in my regular day-to-day life, there's so much absurdly exciting stuff happening and on the horizon, and I'm just like, this is a recipe for disaster. I am hurtling towards burnout. Like, and this experiment is like the most pure form of anti-burnout or antidote that I have ever found. And it is needed, is very, very needed right now. So I hope that this all made sense. Please let me know in the comments down below what you think about all of this. I think I see many dozens, thousands of different directions that this channel could go, but I see three main ones that I'm going to be focusing on for the foreseeable future, which is videos about the experiment itself, which branches out into two directions. So there is starting from, like, I exist, the way this video started. And then I have thoughts, and I have feelings, and there's things around me. So it's like starting off with the least whelming thing possible, meditation. So there will be videos about meditation. The second thing is videos about videos. So it's like, if I'm going to make a video, I need a camera, I need ideas, I need a computer, I need internet, I need a Google account for email so that I can sign up for a YouTube account. I like, I need editing software. There's all this stuff. Then I want tripods and microphones and lights. I didn't turn my lights on. I guess the natural lighting is good enough. Yeah, you don't really see the difference. Lighting has always been my weakest point when it comes to video. That needs work. Anyways, so there's videos about meditation. There's videos about videos. And then there will be, when it comes to where to go from, so like the experiment starts with the meditation of like, I'm doing nothing. I'm overwhelmed, and so I'm going to do nothing. And where do I go from there? When I decide, okay, I'm ready to, I've sat here long enough where the storm has calmed, the waves. Like if you're out on the water in a storm and the waves are crazy, and like that's what's going on in the mind. And so it's like, okay, I've sat here long enough. I've focused on the breath. I've calmed the storm in my mind. The waters are smooth as ice. Now what do I do with this? Where do I go? What do I do? And so from that point, I see three different directions I can go. You can do what I call the moment-by-moment approach, which is just dealing with things as they happen, which is a great way to do things, but ideally you would move beyond that point to having like a more organized structure. And so there's several other different structures that I've created, different approaches to organizing my approach to life, if that makes sense. Damn, that's like the most clear way I've ever been able to explain that in the last like 4 years, 5 years, 4.5. It took me 4.5 years to figure out how to explain that clearly. And I just did it randomly right now. But that moment-to-moment thing is the third thing. How I was saying, I'll be making videos about meditation, videos about videos, and then the third thing is like the moment-to-moment, just whatever is coming at me, making videos about that. But I'm very excited. Very, very excited. There will be essentially almost no editing for a while. I'm going to be focusing on the quality of what I'm saying rather than the production quality for the foreseeable future. And there was a couple other things that I wanted to say yet. Oh, and I'm also going to be doing an every other day upload schedule. I last time did every day, and I stayed fairly consistent for a while. Hold on. Where was that? I had some notes in here about how long I was able to stay consistent. And I forgot to look that up before I started recording this. So it looks like the longest, let's see, I started the new Game Plus 1.0, 2020. I lasted 52 days in a row of uploading videos. And then I did 14 days of twice a day. And then I burnt out for a little while. And then I did like 2 days and then 20 days in a row. And then like a few random days here and there. And then I did 73 days in a row of daily videos. And then I burnt out. And I only did 4 days in a row. And then I burnt out for a while. And did 3 days in a row. And then blah, 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 blah. And so it's this penduluming between quality and quantity. And quality, I think, is obviously super, super important. You have to meet a certain quality threshold for a video to be even worth watching. And so if you're going to make something, just don't make something below that threshold, basically. But then quantity is also super important because that's how you actually get practice. That's how you actually improve. There's this great experiment that I love quoting, where they took a class, a photography class, and half of the class was graded on just their one best photo. And the other half of the class was graded on like their top 25 photos or top 100, I think it was. And so what you had is this group took very few photos total, because every photo that they're taking, they were like, is this the best photo I've ever taken? And if it wasn't, then they wouldn't take it. And so they didn't get practice. And they ended up with, generally, most of them had very bad photos. They didn't have practice with lighting and angles and composition and all that sort of stuff, versus the other group, who is graded on their top 100 photos. They took thousands of photos and then had tons of practice and picked out their best photos. And even if you picked just their best photo to like do a one-to-one comparison between their best photo and their best photo, they created much better photos. So you can get quality from quantity. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's what I did, and so I'm sticking with it. So that's this back and forth that I keep doing. I've been doing for the last 16 years that I've been on YouTube. Has it been 16 years or 17 years? 16 years that I've been on YouTube. I keep doing this back and forth between trying to make only the best videos and not making anything less than my best, and then, you know, barely making a video every couple of years, versus, all right, I'm just going to make videos. And then I burn out. And then it's like, okay, let's just make videos. And then I burn out. So I went daily for a while, and then I burnt out. And then I went double daily, like twice a day for a while, and then I burnt out. And then I went back to daily for a while, and then I burnt out. And so this time I'm going to every other day. And we'll see how long it takes before I burn out. And then we'll come back, and we'll just keep on finding that balance. We'll find that balance. So, thank you for watching. I hope that this is helpful to you in the way that it's been helpful to me. That's something I should say. That's like, and I don't want to say unspoken because I'm about to speak it, but an implied reason for sharing all of this. This has been extremely helpful to me, and I maybe it's just part of my generation. Maybe I don't know what it is, and that's something that I should probably explore more to figure out, like, how to explain to myself and express to others why it is that I love making videos. But it's implied that part of the reason for this is to share it with you, and I hope that my insights may be helpful to you, and maybe vice versa as well, down in the comments. So thank you for watching. And the last thing that, I'm sure I've forgotten something, I always do, but the last thing I definitely want to say, as far as what I'm bringing with me to the Plus, the new Game Plus, what am I bringing from the prior 1.0 into the 2.0, there is I blanked. There was like a couple of things, and I remember the main one I wanted to say, but what were the other things I wanted to say first? As far as what I'm bringing into the 2.0. Come on, brain. That's what I'm bringing into the 2.0, dysfunctional brain. It's stuff that I've already said in the video, plus the one last thing that I have not said in the video is question everything. The version of me that I developed from this 1.0 version of the experiment, and prior, you know, my life prior to starting it, it's like, if I could tell the whole world one thing, if I could summarize the entirety of my existence, my life, all my experiences, everything, and I'm only able to tell the world one thing, it would be question everything. So that is how I shall be ending every video. So take care. Question everything. This video turned out a lot longer than I expected.